Good morning. So it's a session built around exactly what I've just been talking about off camera, which is you can't pour from an empty cup. So I'd like to do a little bit of mobility, some breath work, and prioritize your breath work with your movement today. I'm going to stay along the same lines of supporting the spine, thinking about that spinal mobility, because I think that was really useful for all of us last week. So let's get going. So what I just started with is don't pour from an empty cup. So let's think about what our posture looks like when we look after it. Our toes are spread, our feet are equally balanced, so the weight on right and left is equal. If you need to close your eyes and just check into this, then that's great. Notice the weight in your heels versus the ball of the foot. Try and get an equal spread of weight through the whole of both feet. Now, when you got there, I want you to think about the power in the arch of the feet and how that draws up all the way through the inner thighs internally. And it's almost like you're putting your roots down and you're drawing your energy up from the ground. And this will create this lengthening through your body, this lengthening through your torso, this desire to stand tall and strong, chin gently tucked back, neck long, shoulders back and down, just creating that power stance. You're ready to take on everything and anything. And once you feel that you're there, just close your eyes for a moment and just take a long breath in. Feel the ribs expand. Exhale and slowly let that breath go. Now we'll check in with the breath. That lateral thoracic breathing, inhaling through the nostrils and allowing the breath to come down and spread the rib cage. So feel that widening through your rib cage, and as you exhale, everything is just tightening into your center and pulling up and out. So you're feeling this energy firing out through your core. So this bit's important. So later on, we'll go into some kneeling core moves. I want you to think about gravity and using that power of your breath to pull in through the abdominal wall, lifting up through the pelvic floor and feeling that check in with the tilt of your pelvis. Now let's just roll our shoulders. Now I'm starting this today with my hands slightly wider, so I'm just kind of like warming up my wings. Lovely. Okay, now arms come up all the way into a high V and then down again. That's all we're doing. So breath in, high V, and down again. Palms up as you rise. Turn palms down as you lower. Arms, palms up as you rise, ball of your feet to the top, so up onto your toes. Exhale, take it down. Lovely. Inhaling. Slowly to the top of the movement through the big and second toe. Exhaling. You don't have to copy me in the same breath pattern. Work to your own breathing rate. And that real softness through the arch of the feet, that lightness. So you slowly rise at the same pace as your arm going to the sky, and slowly lower and lower and lower until your heels come down at the same time your hands touch your thighs. So really try and pace this. So this lovely soft movement is helping us to regulate the parasympathetic nervous system. So flowing of movement, pacing of breath, noticing what's going on through the body. Let's do that one more time. Breath in. So already what you should be experiencing is the shoulders going, oh, hello, arches of the feet, back of the hamstring. They're all saying hello and what's going on. Okay, so feet in neutral, just sliding your hand down towards your knee, arm to sky. So did you see that? So you slide down and then send your hand high. So, and the reason I'm doing this early on in the flow is because I just want to help you with your crystals in your ears. So lateral flexion, Notice the weight in the feet should stay the same. A little reach to the sky. Now, if this is too much and makes you feel too dizzy, keep your eye gaze on me. So the idea is we're flexing and rotating through the neck as well. So, and it's just gentle movements, but this is still, it's waking up the shoulders, it's checks and balances in the body, holding your hand in the air and eye gaze and inflection. There's lots of things being asked of your spine right now. So we're just trying to warm it all up and get it all talking to each other. Lovely. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, again, feet still in neutral, I want you to reach out into the far diagonal, but send your arm backwards. Got it? So we're reaching out into the diagonal, opposite arm goes backwards. Now we're going to practice this because it will feel different each time, but I want you to notice what's going on with your knees and see if we can just come up onto our tiptoes into a balance. So reach, balance, stand. Work on that breath. We've got 3 more of these in total to do. So again, this is the brain just checking in with the core, going, hang on a minute, we need to make sure she's balanced. So it's more of a diagonal stretch rather than straight on. So we're not focusing, we're not too tight into balance yet. Wider our arms are, the more stable we're feeling. And just notice what's going on in the shoulders and the arms. Lovely. Okay, this is good. This is good. Okay, so with this in mind, check in with the body. We're going to shift our weight onto the left leg and let the right leg float. The right arm will go up to the sky, left arm out into the corner. Slowly bring your arms back. Feet into neutral, transfer, switch weight, transfer weight, and then we'll do this. Lovely. Take your time, take your time. So this is tapping in to our balance, to our core, just mobilizing and really switching on to focus, because you can't think of anything else right now but these moves. Can't think of anything else. You were utterly in this moment with me, sharing this, taking your time, identifying which parts might need a bit of work, and also noticing what's going on in your body, how it's feeling, how you're feeling. Does this make you feel strong, or does it make you feel vulnerable? And if so, what do we need to do to adjust it? Well done. Release, relax. Oh, that was all a bit of a shock to start with. Okay, so good old-fashioned roll down. I want you to take your attention. This is about your belly, all right? So your center is going to do all the work. So we start with pulling it in. Do you remember we used to do this? I used to talk about pulling in your belly and imagine it all being tucked under your ribs. Do you remember that conversation? So what I'd like you to do is start with pulling in as tight as you can and start to flex, not far. And then rise up into a standing position. Now we're going to do this several times. Each time you're really sucking in as tight as you can, because you've just put on your tightest pair of jeans that don't really fit you at all. And you're pulling it in and you're walking quite stiff because they don't really fit you. So pull it in and lower down. Notice where that's feeling, because as soon as I come into this position, I can feel my back stretch. I can feel my low back. It's going, what's going on? So I'm pulling in my abdominals as I come into a rise again. Chin to chest, lower down. Taking a breath, exhaling and rising. So really take your time with this. There's no rush in this movement until we're really slowing it down. Think chin to chest. So when you're rolling, your eye gaze is through your thighs, and each time you're going a little deeper, and we're really tucking in, your belly tucked in, so the abdominals are going right the way under your ribs. Lovely. Then last time, we're going to roll down. Take your time, take your time. Roll down and stay down. So I notice my right hamstring is getting tight. So we're going to stay down, not so much my left, but my right. It's no pain, it's just like it doesn't want to play ball yet. So now I'm going to hold on to the elbows and just stay there into a little swing to the left side and a little swing to the right side. And noticing what's going on in my back at the same time as I roll into this position. Lovely. Just taking your time there. Taking your time there. Enjoying how that's feeling. When you're ready, bend your knees, bring your hands to the floor. And we just stay here. Let's mobilize those wrists. Okay, so in the first place, spread your fingers. Index and middle finger point forward. And then just for a moment, we're going to do a circle clockwise and then anti-clockwise, just shifting the weight around the wrists. So what happens is here, we start to relax the breathing and we stop talking about it because this feels like, yeah, I've got this. But actually what I want you to do is spend the whole of this movement pulling your belly towards your backbone. So lengthen through the arms. And this is just a strong position where you're already talking to the pelvic floor. You're pulling your belly into your backbone. Well done. Push back and then put your bottom onto your heels and stretch out in child's pose. Again, make this an active stretch. So what I want you to do is use your hands to push into it and not only push back, but press down. So you can feel muscles around your ribs and your armpits, all really part of the mission here. So passive, we're just doing nothing. Active, we're pushing into it. We're trying to make it bigger, smaller, stretchier, bendier. Okay, lovely. Good, 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 good. Okay, so we're on all fours. Let's think about the back of the arms. So what I want you to do is think about your hands equal and balanced, shoulders directly over hands. I want your nose to come towards to an apex, center and forward of your fingers. So as we breathe in, we lower down. As we exhale, we push away. Breathing in to lower, breathing out to push away. Now again, come back to your breathing rate. So you need to keep that breath calm, inhaling as you lower, exhaling as you push away. Now this is really good for the shoulders. This is really lovely for the back of the arms. Inhaling, exhaling. Breathing in, breathing out. Last time, breathing in, breathing out, sit back. Well done. Oh, everything had a little click then. Lovely. So we're good. We're up and running. Okay. So curling those toes under the heels. Now remember what I said. I want you to stay in that really soft state of breath. We're not panicking, we're not overloading, but we are curling the toes under the heels and we are taking the knees off the deck for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, knees down, relax the feet, calm the breath. Come forward, let's repeat, curl toes under heels. Take a breath in, exhale, float, 8, 7, 6, try not to dangle the head, good posture, belly to backbone, be conscious and notice the pelvic floor. Knees down, push back. Well done. So we've got some excellent strengthening going on here. So that's your isometric hold, Annie. So strengthening the wrist, strengthening the shoulder. That's what we're doing here. Okay, if you need to just roll out your wrist, fine. We're coming back into it. Last time, coming forward. Box position, brace ab, notice pelvic floor, press into the index fingers, inhaling to prepare. Exhale and lift for 8, 7. Now breathe naturally and comfortably. When we finish this, what we're going to do, we're going to come up, up, up into downward facing dog. So here we go. So heels come down, knees lengthen and extend. Eye gaze more in line with your fingers and thumbs than looking at your toes. So we're thinking about a beautiful long spine here. Now I want you to see if you can just tuck your tail a little. So we're lengthening through the back, just tucking your tail a little, and notice how that changes things. Pressing into the heels. Pushing back and holding and breathing. Belly in a little tuck. So we have a really beautiful long spine here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Well done. Slowly come forward into a plank, knees down, and sit out. Yeah, sure. Grab some water. We're coming into a seated position so we can do some spinal twists and into saw. Okay, so grab a drink first. That's a nice little flow to get going. But I just want us to stay in that nice calm state. Breath comes first. Now, over the years of teaching Pilates, I'm in and out of love of breathing sequencing. But I'm coming at this session from a mental health point of view. And if we can really keep that breath under control and nice and calm, we can really own the movements today. All the movements are from a neurological point of view. So we're really tapping into your nervous system. So it's all beautiful stuff. It's not always the focus in Pilates. But with only one session a week, I've got to try and hit as many different aspects around anatomy where we can really try and keep you as well as possible. Okay, so I've said the phrase notice a lot today because when we are in that parasympathetic state, that state of calm, this does enable us to really use our mindfulness and being in the moment to check in on our bodies, identifying what's tight, what's sore, what feels free, what feels good. This is all nice noticing. So we're sat on those sit bones, so the bottom of the pelvis now, and I want you to just really think about being forward in the movement rather than on your bum, if that makes sense. So I don't want a rounded shoulders. I want us to be upright and tall and just leaning in slightly. Okay, when you feel comfortable, so sometimes you might need to sit on a block to achieve this and feel good with it. Also think about toes upwards or slightly dialed outwards. So if that means you need to bring your legs closer together, great. Really doesn't matter. It's always driven me mad, and I see it in classes now, that the instructor at the front wants to go as wide as possible, as flat as possible, as bent, and you're like, not ideal. It's not the rest of us. Okay, we've been here for a while now. So before we come into saw, what I'd like to do is for you to lift your left knee. And then I want you to take your left arm through the space and hold on to the outside of the left ankle. What this suddenly does is free up space in your shoulder, and you're going to get quite a nice stretch here. Then I want you to push your chest forward and use the left arm as a bit of resistance. Now we go tall with the spine and we open the chest by sending the arm to the far top right corner. That right arm comes in and down, thumb up the back. Got it? So the thumb comes up the back towards your bra strap. Roll the shoulder, open the chest again. And now what I want you to do is put your left ear towards your left shoulder. Eye gaze to ceiling. Breathe and start to relax that left hip. What you'll notice is the left hip is starting to give in. Slowly come out of this and give yourself a moment. I found that quite hard on vertigo. That was kind of like, woo. Okay, other side. So bend the right knee, send the right hand through that space and hold on to the outside of the right ankle. So again, we're freeing up space in that shoulder. Now you're going to have a little bit of resistance into the shoulder because some of the muscles there won't like that too much. So this is why we have to give it time to settle in. Lift up through the chest. Send your left hand to the top left corner and add in that little rotation there. So put in some resistance, stretching into it. Now take your left hand, thumb down, up the back. So take the back of the hand onto the back of the shoulders and just let that settle there. And see if we can lift the chest again. Take your right ear down onto your right shoulder. Have they gone?
No, sorry, that was me.
And then look up towards the ceiling. I can't see them,
Sorry,
Pat.
no, 2 seconds.
Slowly come out of that. Lovely. How does that feel? How do your shoulders feel? Nice. Okay, so from here, we're going to take up our arms out onto the horizon, palms down, a little rotation. So as we twist to the left, the right hand lines up over the right knee. Come back to center, nice and tall, breath in, exhale. So remember what I always say, this isn't a neck turning exercise. This is a rotation from the middle of the spine. Inhaling, exhaling. Now, in a minute, your shoulders are going to go, oh, I'm a bit tired now. So last time towards the right. Come through center. Reach towards right hand towards left ankle. Rise up, rotate, breathe out, reach. Inhale, exhale, reach. Now keep going. I've got 2 or 3 more of these in us. Now we've been sat in this position for a while, so your hip flexors are going to be quite tired. So we're nearly done. Last flex. Last reach. Bend your knees, come forward for a minute. Somebody had a power cut, didn't they? Okay, feet wide. Just start rocking your knees side to side. Now, what you might notice is that feels quite intense first time around. Okay, what you can do is go wider with your feet and see if you can get now the inner side of the knee and lower limb onto the floor. Oh, I really enjoyed that. Okay. And release. Good, good. Finally, we get to lie down. So if you want to grab a sip of water before you get there, we're just going to lie flat on our backs and give ourselves a second. Okay, so I'd like to go into single leg stretch series and double leg stretch. That's where we're going next. So to start with, just go long. Stretch out your body, squeeze your bottom, just go long. Oops. Okay, so whilst you're there, when we were in seated and doing those rotations and stuff, the hip flexors had a bit of a batter in. So we're going to flex the hips again. So before we do that, bring your heels into your bottom and lift the spine away from the floor. Do this 3 or 4 times in an active bridge, just to release the hip flexors. So be really mindful of the top of the hips into the bottom of the pelvis. So you use your bottom and really squeeze your bum muscles nice and high towards the sky, just to get some release here straight away before we come into a further hip flexion. Okay, so lovely jubbly. Oh, let's take my hair out. Bear with. Oh, maybe I'm just a bit, the anxiety is because I've got a little bit of low level vertigo today. Oh, there you go. Right, so old school, we're coming into half tabletop. Before we do that, I want you to come onto your heels. So we're flexing through the ankles. Now, we start to contract through the core. Yeah. Lift up one leg. So the foot will remain flexed. Now, if you want to give yourself a little check, because what we don't want is just change the angle. So we want 90 degrees at the hip and 90 at the knee. Take a breath. Leg 2 comes up to say hello to it. Heel tap down. Other heel tap down. So the slower we do this, the preferred is what I prefer. So we slowly go up, up, down, down. Now, what you might end up doing is going into leading or dominating on one side only. Last time, up, up, stay. Relax ankles. Okay. From here, one leg comes forward. So breathe in, exhale, send the leg forward and bring it in. Exhale. Now, whilst you're doing this, I want you to think about the arch of the foot. And when you send the leg out, be conscious of the inner thigh, the inside of the knee, and the arch. And the reason being, when you just straighten the leg and send it out, when you straighten the leg and send it out, what happens is sometimes we're not focusing on the right muscles, and your leg will go out just slightly off angle. So really focus on sending that leg out and in through the midline of the body. Got it? Okay. Draw your knees into chest and give yourself a crutch just for a second. So double leg stretch has always been something that has always kind of bothered me, because I think it often puts too much load in the back. So let's have a look at it, because I see it when I attend classes myself, and the instructor just smashes out the legs and in, and I worry that puts too much pressure into the bowel. And if we're not set in the base of those pelvic muscles, then we have a tendency to bear down. Remember, I started this conversation by talking about Valsalva maneuver. Let's have a look how we can make this work well for us. So We breathe in, contract, set. Exhale, send your feet towards the ceiling, but just slightly forward. Got it? Inhale to reset. Exhale, just a little bit lower. Now, what I'd like us to do is put the chin to the chest each time. So as the legs extend, the chin comes to the chest. Got it? Then we reset. Exhale. Because very quickly, you can go lower because it's all firing together. So this is then becoming part of the dance sequence. See if we can keep your feet together. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Give me 3 more. I'm coming up to have a little look at you. Ooh. Lovely. That should feel tight. That you should absolutely feel your abs kick in on that. Yes? Give me a thumbs up. Last time. So chin to chest each time you extend those legs. Okay, rest, 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 rest. Ooh, I can tell by the way you plopped your feet down that you did feel that, right? Good. Lovely. Okay. Right. So what I'd like us to do, I'm not so much a fan. I tend to avoid hamstring stuff these days. And I realize that's a bit naughty. Okay. So here we go. Now watch. I want us to come up into a bridge off our heels, come back down, onto the balls of our feet, come up into a bridge again, and come down. Got it? Will feel different each time. So heels, lift into bridge, and down, toes, lift into bridge, and down. Now we're going to do this a handful of times. What you'll notice, there's like quite a nice stretch out of the knee and above the knee, but also back of calves and back of thighs are kicking into this at the same time. Lovely. Now, next time you're on the balls of your feet, onto your tiptoes, you push up nice and high, and you're going to stay up there. Now, tiny, weeny little presses. Tiny, weeny little presses. Stop. Walk your feet away from your bottom a couple of inches. Still on your tiptoes, bum still lifted. Got it? Got it? Okay. Tiny, weeny little presses. Check your knees, little presses. Stop. Walk, toes another inch or two forward. You're still on your tiptoes. Hips higher, please. Bottom squeeze and tiny, weeny little presses. Yes, it does. Tiny, weeny little presses. I can see legs being flicked into the air with crampage. Tiny, weeny little presses. Tiny, weeny little presses. Bum down, knees to chest. Cut chin. Lovely. Well done, lovely people. Ooh, that's fairly intense. Yeah. Right. Okay. So from here, let's lie onto our sides. So turn to face me. I would cut your ear into your arm. Okay. And then today, 90 at the hips, 90 at the knees, and make sure your hips are stacked. Okay, I'm just going to change position so you can see me better. There you go. Okay. Right, so the top leg just lifts and lowers. Yeah, I got a little touch of the vertigo this morning. Ooh. So we're lifting and lowering, the hips stay stacked. And why I'm saying that, it's really easy to roll onto your bum cheek. So we lift and lower. This should be okay. Up and hold. Now we're going to send the whole leg, top leg, just away from your center 1 inch or 2. So your top leg is slightly staggered to your bottom leg, and then we're going to bring it in and out, and in and out. Got it? Okay. Okay, keep going. So it's along the horizon. You could, in theory, balance a cup of tea on the outside of that moving knee. Tiny presses. Now we're going to go a little further away. Tiny weeny little presses. By now there should be a little bit of smarting going on, maybe sobbing. I'm not quite sure. Ooh. Just pressing that heel away, just tiny little moves. Ouchie, like ouchie from Ouchieville. Ow. Ow. And in fact, it will feel just even worse than ever before. Now we go full stretch, knee in. Pushing out and in. We're not done. We're not done. You think this is bad? We're not done. Okay. Got it? Got it? Okay. Right. Come back and hold. You're still floating. You're still floating. You're going to bring that ankle slightly forward to me. And you're going to push again. So you're coming forward to me. Tiny, weeny little presses. Oh my word. Oh my God. Tiny, weeny little presses. Tiny, weeny little presses. Ow. And ow. And ow. Keep going. 8. Yeah. 7. 6. 5. That's nasty. 4. Oh my word. Anyone's butt on fire. Oh. Now we're not done. We're going to bring that knee onto the floor now. Give yourself a butt rub. A bit of light relief. So for the sake of my memory, we're going to come up and over, or you can flip onto the other side, and we're going to repeat. So we start with that setup. That's the critical bit. You have to have your hips stacked. You have to have 90 at the hip, 90 at the knee. Okay. Okay, so we start by lifting and lowering. So I don't know about you, but this hip is already hurting in advance. I don't feel I've got any relief from the other side yet. Okay, so up and hold. We're going to send that leg away 1 inch or 2, so it's not far. So slightly staggered, the hips stay equal, and we're just going to press and reset. Now, it's not very big movement. If you look down towards your leg, it's not really moving that far, but the important thing is the heel and the knee remain the same height, that we're not rolling onto our bottom, and it's a small press. We're not fully extending, we're not fully flexing anything. It's a small range of movement. Yeah, I know. And I am sorry. But literally, but it's smarting, right? Ouchie, ouchie, McOuchie from Ouchiesville. Okay, a little further now. Out and in. Woo! And it migrates, doesn't it? That pain. Oh, who'd have thought? Oh. Oh, I know. Okay, then we bring the leg forward. So we're reset and we just bring the ankle forward, and the same thing. Oh my flipping word. I don't know why I started this. I'm really sorry. I really am. So forward slightly, we're pressing away. Keeping that space between both knees. It's still a relatively small movement. Ow, it's smarting. Anyone hate this? Give me a thumb. Not fingers, thumb. 4 and 3 and 2. Last time. Bring that knee down and give yourself a pat and a roll. Well done. Honestly, that is good effort there. Woo! Rolling onto our bellies. Right. I'm constantly covered in fluff. Right. Okay. Whew. So that was intense, wasn't it? Okay, first things first. Feet in nice and separated. All I want you to do is rock side to side to side to side and press your pubic bone down in towards the ground. Got it? Okay, so that's quite important. I really want you to squeeze your bum muscles and push your pubic bone into the floor. So that will feel quite tender, and that's normal because you're crossing over quite a lot of fascias here. So, and it's actually not very fatty area as well. So you can feel that. Okay, we start just by just little flicks to bum. This is just about prep. So there's no style in this at all with anything. Okay, right, now there's going to be style. So first things first, I want you to think about what's going on with your neck and shoulders. So your elbows are pressed into the ground, palms down, and then I want you to push your rib cage off the floor. Okay, so relax your bum cheeks for a second, just push your shoulders off the ground, yeah, so you can feel your belly away from the floor. Okay, so and try to keep relaxing your bum cheeks because they just want to take over. So we're going to relax them. Walk your knees further inwards towards each other, and then what we're going to do, we're going to look at heel flicks to bottom, quite a stern boom boom into bum, right? Dum dum. Okay, so what you might feel is quite a big stretch through the front of the thigh, and it's a flexed foot to really strike towards your bottom. Okay, relax. We're going to do that again, but this time what I'm looking for is your bum to squeeze, your thigh muscles to stretch, and your knees to come off the deck. From here, we're going to send one arm forward and in and in. So we're pushing the pubic bone into the ground. The legs are lifted, the kneecaps are off the deck. Your back is doing the work. So your back muscles are in. 4, 3, just arms only. 2, last time. And release, relax for a second. Okay, so from here we're going into more of a I don't know, what's this? Like an X shape. Okay, we'll get there. Right arm, left leg, up and down. Left arm, right leg. Okay, so we're just going to work through this either slowly. It's really interesting because one side feels natural, the other side goes, oh, I hate that. So we're going to get into a rhythm where we're going to make this feel like we are paddling. If you feel you're losing your pace and suddenly you look like a giraffe, newborn, slow it down, start again. So right arm, left leg, boom, 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 boom. And then release. Hands to your chest. Push up, push back, child's pose. Just give your back a bit of a breather here and a nice stretch out because it's been in a flex state. Your back hasn't. Your back has been in an extended position for a while, so you might feel that on your back muscles. I find sometimes coming up into more of a kneeling position helps here. Takes the pressure off the back. Lovely, lovely. Okay. So out of child's pose, I want you to come up so your bum's on your heels, then curl your toes, and we're just going to push back into a squat. Then we're going to come back down and child's pose. Can you see that? So hands slide inwards, elbows straighten, curl toes, push back into squat, heels down. Or we're pressing into the heels. We haven't done that for a while. I can feel that too. So child's pose. Slide hands to knees, curl toes, push back. Just enjoy that stretch. Knees down, child's pose. Hands to knees. This time, curl toes under heels. We're going to push back, but we're actually going to separate the knees so we're slightly wider. But I just want you to think about getting those heels into ground. I know. Use your hands into the ground and use your elbows into your knees just to stretch out through your hips a little bit. If I'm not making sense, another way to do this is to come into that squat and use your elbows and your hands to push apart. And the reason why this is important, we've got to keep working on opening up the hips. There is another way to do that, and that is in a half fold. And I want you to actively push your knees wide. Hands to floor, knees straighten. Elbows straighten if you can. Again, notice where and what needs stretching in the back. Okay, walk the feet wider, bend your left knee, and move your hands towards your left side. So enjoy the stretch of the right thigh, inner thigh and groin. Walk your hands to the other side, bend your right knee, straighten your left leg. Take your hands to the right side. Now we're going to repeat that and make it deeper. Walk your hands across to the left side. Take your hands, both hands to the outside of the left ankle and pull through your hands to increase the stretch in your shoulder. Left knee slightly bent, right leg extended. Switching sides, hand walk over to right ankle. Pull. So use your arms to pull, and this gives you the release in your shoulder. Come back to center. Take your right hand, pop it flat on the floor. Left hand towards the ceiling. Left hand down, right hand towards the ceiling. Knees bent, hands down. Walk your feet towards each other. Pop your hands below your knees onto your shins and just flatten out that back. Might have to switch cameras. Chin to chest, round out through the back and slide your hands just above your kneecaps. Just enjoy that stretch. Scoop in your belly inwards. Okay, keep your hands where they are. Drop your chest, eye gaze forward, lift your chin. Round up again. So chin to chest, round up through the back and slowly roll into a stand-in. Pumping your heels at the top of the movement. Lovely, lovely. Pump in heels. Okay, so feet go wide. Take a breath in. Let's float the hands up to me. Press your hands towards me. Take your hands down. Inhale in, bring your hands up. Exhale to me. And down. Inhale in. Exhale in. Breath in. Breath out. And keep going with the breath out. Inhale in. Exhale in. And hands down. Roll your shoulders, bring your feet together. Okay. Inhale in. Hands up nice and high towards the ceiling. Drop the shoulders, long neck. Exhale in, palms down, slowly. Release your hands. Inhale in. Exhale in. Inhale in. Exhale in. Last time, breath in. Hands clasp at the top of the movement. Turn your palms towards the ceiling and stretch out. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle jiggle. Palms facing. Stretch out through the back and shoulder, chin to chest. Stretch through the back here. Arms up again to the ceiling, palms away from you. Release your hands out to the sides and give yourselves a round of applause. Well done. Well done, lovely girls. I hope you feel okay.